such an identity change coming into 2023. In particular, CYCLOPS, I think, has seriously taken a step up in their playstyle, whereas Scarz, I think, is like a true evolution of what we saw out of Copenhagen. So I think these two teams at the moment are performing and they're playing at their best. It's going to be a good one.
It was about 1 year ago that these teams first played against each other in a best of 5, and that was a 3-0 for Scarz in the Japan Invitational. A lot has changed in the last year, though, including CYCLOPS getting the better of Scarz in the Japan Invitational this year. So everything is on the board now for CYCLOPS to get the revenge and to get another win over the team that has been the reigning champions of the Japanese region for the last year.
Ban phase is going to roll by as we speak about these two teams. The first two to go, Lion and Monty. I think interesting ideas from the Japanese region. They always do something a little bit different, right? They like to lean into those more personalized attacking operators. And I think taking out that Monty against Anderton is completely fair enough. He is a bit of a demon on that shield. And of course, Lion does enable a lot of those quick entries into the map. On border, you don't want to enable those attackers to get in super early. So that being taken out, I think, is a good idea as well for Scarz on the other side, starting on the defense.
Yeah, there really are quite a few internationally infamous Montaigne players. Like throughout history, there's a couple of players that will spring to mind, and Anderton is going to be on the shortlist, right? For Scarz, for CYCLOPS, he has been the X-Factor player. On attack, he's always the one on the Monty, or in this case, the Ying. And CYCLOPS, they love to embrace that chaos on those attacks. So I'm very excited, knowing that we're going to border, right? This is just such a chaotic map to begin with. I have no idea what we've got in store, Mandy. It's tantalizing, the prospect of a banging BO5 between these two teams.
It's going to be a fun one for sure. And like you said, I just can't wait for it. Scarz already bringing out pretty interesting idea here. They are extending their way out in towards that triple wall, actually playing it as a rotation rather than playing it closed. Not just that, but enabled by the castle setup to make their way inside of break, make that a power position, as well as making 90 a power position too. So what Scarz are trying to do here is they really want to prevent CYCLOPS from entering in from that top east and inside of break room. Both of those entry points are going to be locked out by the defense. It's going to be very hard to win out on the early game or the attack.
I think that, if anything, border in its current state between teams of this caliber, it's all about figuring out how to get that opening. And for CYCLOPS, you'll see clever droning and long angles being held from outside the building. Oh, look at that, in tandem with the nade, trying to flush the player into the line of sight of the guy outside of break room. That's a really nice maneuver. Unfortunately for CYCLOPS, doesn't manage to be successful as of yet. And as I say that, I believe Washoy has made an aggressive play out of break room and taken down Black Ray. No more air jabs available.
Yeah, so if you remember the last time that we watched Scarz on this map as well, it was Fishlike and Washoy inside of break room, just outside of CC, that did a super job in holding out on those entries. And Washoy once again proving his prowess and doing the exact same thing. Taken down, though, Black Ray has been traded out, so 4-4, man advantage, not to either side just yet, but with a minute taken down for the side of the attack.
It's an extremely claustrophobic defense, isn't it? Fishlike is caught in a very dangerous position, but CYCLOPS have continued to struggle at flushing out his position. Another nade here, but there doesn't seem to be enough information. A lurk downstairs is punished. Kuli goes down, and Rek able to quickly jump straight up back the office hatch. And the Oryx is continuing to be useful here. I'm a bit concerned now for CYCLOPS. They still haven't got much map control, and they do have a numbers disadvantage.
The Ying is going to be sent through of Anderton. He rolls out the Candela, but doesn't see Fishlike cross his line of sight. He's going to collect the next one. Suzuki downstairs is going to be taken out by Pion as well from that mezzanine position. It's going to leave Chibisu all alone in the 1 versus 4. He does see Fishlike cross back in, but isn't able to quite sink the shots that he needs. There is info on the player inside of CC, but will he be able to capitalize on it?
In a 1v4, it would have to be a miracle for one of the newest members of CAG to make this one work. Chibisu, of course, formerly of Fnatic. Quite an upgrade moving over to CYCLOPS now. He's actually going to give a go of it. Respect that. He does have time to work with. You never know what can happen. Find a pick here or there, but unfortunately for him, he will jump straight into the waiting arms of Pion. And Scarz have what is in the end a very dominant opening to border.
Yeah, good stuff there from Scarz. It just felt like Cyclops couldn't quite sink the utility that they needed to dislodge the entry denial players, right? For sure, he landed a very successful run out to start things off. Not just that, but Fish-like seemed ever elusive in his position inside a cubby, even made the rotation hole work pretty well for him, and there was no way that the attack could keep tabs on him. There was no way they could sink the nade that they needed to from down below. That was Suzu C. We were on board with him plenty of times trying to land that one, and unfortunately Cyclops not quite coming up with the solution that they needed to actually make their entry into the building.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
So, I feel like it was a fairly brief desk segment, Andy. What do you think about Cyclops and their current trajectory, right? They've made quite a big stride from stage 1, where there was a lot of expectation behind them, and if anything, I think it was a bit of a surprise that they failed to make it, where Donuts, Varel, and North Eption succeeded. But in stage 2, of course, they've secured that major spot once again. But where do they really sit right now? I'm still undetermined.
It's hard, right? Because Cyclops is one of those teams that I want to have a lot of faith in. I think Guz put it really well in stage 1 when we had Japan League together, and he was saying that for once, Cyclops actually are dialing down on their playstyle, right? We're not seeing the Cyclops of old where they are doing stuff that is just so unconventional and like so untraditional that it's really hard to follow and doesn't always seem that measured or that calculated. But now, somehow they've actually dialed back their playstyle and they're trying to merge in this like more fundamental understanding of Siege with their identity as a team as well. And I think that in stage 1 they couldn't quite find their footing in doing that, but in stage 2 it seems to have worked out better for them. Now against Scarz, I don't know how they're going to fare up, but I do think that I really like their approach to the game and it makes me want to be really excited for this team.
Yeah, I feel the same. It's a great prospect to think that the Cyclops of old could make a return. Even if they have changed their playstyle, this name, it means something. These players have won the hearts of many fans. Shibisu gets in the building quick. East stairs control, I really like this. It's more prompt from Cyclops. They know, of course, the bomb site's downstairs, so there will be less pressure up top, of course, on border. Scarz will hold as much of the map as possible all at once. But we're seeing some good drone work and some good quick entry. But no kills as of yet.
Keep them on their toes.
Yeah, I think good read, like you're saying. East has given up this time, seeming that the bomb site is all the way on the other corner of the map of Vent. The incandels do ring out from Anaton, but not able to capitalize on it just yet. All of the Scarz players playing the cautious and disciplined game. They don't want to give up their lives here, right? You don't know where the Cyclops players could be. Of course, there is the Valkyrie to aid some of that info, and I think they will know that Cyclops have made their way into East and are now on the stairs.
Oh, wow. What a great pre-fire there from Tayo. Akuli is in a bit of a pinch at the moment. He's been taken low. Black Ray elsewhere in the same position. But Chibisu finds, I believe that was 2 for him, upstairs. As Fishlike's gone down on top of Washoy. So Scarz now 2 players at a deficit. This hatch already opened. And if Cyclops are able to ascertain this map control, this will be very uncomfortable for the defense.
Yeah, good work there from Suzy C to double down on the position. With Chibisu opening up that triple wall does put the pressure on the attack, on the defense, upstairs rather, and actually force them to take that fight there. So unfortunately now for Tayo, he's left all alone inside of bathroom and is being cut off on the other side. A player inside of lobby will surely take him down.
Oh yeah, but Bjon's found one. It is possible here, as the Selma does open a line of sight, but also a rotate hole. Tayo might be welcome to have this avenue open to him. He moves sneakily into Tellers itself. Bjon looking for another 1v1. Doesn't take much for a 2v4 to slip away. The player outside the main door. Bjon manages to get away just in time. But he is now cut off once again.
Nice here from the remaining 2 players of Scarz, knowing that in the numbers disadvantage they need to take these fights and make these plays. Unfortunately for Bjon, he doesn't actually land the gunfight that he needs to. It's going to leave Tayo all alone in the 1 versus 4. Cyclops can take him down. They know exactly where he was. And a very clean attack, well read from them, can even up the scoreline.
And quite a dominant attack. I'll say both of the rounds so far have been pretty one-sided, right, Mandy? Scarz were very confident on their armory defense, but of course that's going to be locked every time you win it for 2 rounds. So they can only win it twice in the half. You need to have some teeth on these other bomb sites. A lot of teams go to Tellers. The fact that it was Workshop there, I'm pretty sure that was a Workshop bomb site.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it's a bit of a surprise to me, but perhaps they will switch it up now. Because even the customs inspection and supply, like that's a viable bomb site at this level. Be careful, have a good strat.
Defused by attackers.
Good point that you're making on border. It is one of the few maps in the pool at the moment where all 4 bomb sites we do see get played at a pro league level. And although this one can be a little more challenging to interpret, the customs one, yes, like you're saying, it can certainly be played. Ventilation was a curious one for me. I think, like you're saying, it meant that they did actually forfeit that Eastairs setup that they wanted, that was so successful in the first round, right? So this time around, they're going to go over to bathroom and tellers instead, which I think is a wise play. CYCLOPS, we saw them really struggle before to actually entry into that top floor when they were met with resistance on the Eastairs and inside of CCTV. It does look like the setup is going to lean itself into that very same strategy. So I think for Scarz, once again, looking to deny the entry, and CYCLOPS have got to find a better way into the building.
Just having a look at the map stats at the moment for the Japan League. Now, Border has only been played 3 times, so there's not a ton of data, but Teller's Bathroom only has a 13% win rate. It's actually the lowest by far. Of course, quite a bit of statistical inaccuracy there with just such a low sample size, but I think it does reflect just a lack of preference for this bomb site for the defense. Anything is possible, though. What's going on, Chibisu?
I think he's waiting for the flashbangs. Yeah, he's been initiated inside of break room and is going to secure that first kill. Washoy, though, on the other side is going to find the trade on the second player outside of the break room door. So it will be even so far, but a really nice headshot through the wall from Chibisu is going to claim the life of Pion, but not before Rek is there to trade it back out again. But now, once again, even man count. Both teams playing so close together is not going to secure one team over the other, but there's our Cully.
Yeah, 45 seconds into the round, Mandy, and half the server is dead. This is Japanese aggression at its finest. I absolutely love it. CYCLOPS win the exchange at the end of it. Thanks to some heroics from Chibisu and Arkoli, who, by the way, are the 2 best players in Japan League right now.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, these teams are at the top of the Japan League for a reason, right? We're anticipating that the best players are going to be in the server, and they certainly are. Man disadvantage now for Scarz, but it's not unwinnable. 2 versus 3 is certainly a situational place where they can claw it back. Meanwhile, the rest of CAG realizing that there might not be anyone on the bomb site, and they can collapse here inside of the ground floor.
It's like inside of Tellers now. Suzu's starting to make his move. Washoy Tayo will have to stand up. Good reposition here from Washoy, though. He might be able to take down a player on the mezzanine. He's now got the audio cue. No C4. Tayo's been taken very low HP. And it looks like all of CYCLOPS are forming up together. This is a good move. They're using the time that they've got available, setting up blank drones and preparing to drop that Teller's hatch.
Tough spot now for the remaining 2 players of Washoy. Tayo, like you said, has been taken down very low, so any engagement will take him out. It does look like they are going to try and execute down within this Eastairs position. It is Arkali to be followed by his teammate, the bomb behind him, of course, but they're going to have to be very careful of the remaining 2 players of Scarz.
Arkali, such a good position. Scarz just need 1 pick here to make this winnable, but Tayo will go down handily. All up to Washoy now. They have a pretty strong suspicion of where he is. He needed to land that spray. He needed to land that one as well, but neither go his way. And Arkali can lock in the round as the diffuser was going down. CYCLOPS are up 2-1. They are dominating on these offside attacks.
I like the way that CYCLOPS actually initiated their teammates to get in on the entry there. They realized that once again there was that stronghold inside of mezzanine, inside of break, inside of CC, all those positions, but all they needed to do was send in Chibisu at the same time as a flurry of flashbangs, and it really distracted the defenders that were playing inside of 90. Of course, they tried to make that a power position with the Azami, with the castle, but when you're flashed out and you're full white, you can't exactly see your entries go in, right? So great job there for the teamwork of CAG to actually get their way in, find a way inside of the building and take down the defense.
It's a good start. Of course, now there's going to be a bit of a flip as Scarz can go back to their primary bomb site, Armory Archives, and this was a 4v0. This was the most dominant round that we've seen so far from either team. But CYCLOPS have now had a chance to look at this setup, right? They've had a chance to think about what they can do differently this time. They tried to attack the break room and CCTV setup head-on and were pretty unsuccessful despite finding an early pick. It simply was not enough. Scarz, they're the ones that need to flip the switch back onto CYCLOPS now, and I'm not really sure how they're going to do it. It looks like CYCLOPS might be going for something a little bit cheeky. Is that a Glaz I see?
Interesting. One thing I will note for the Scarz defense is that I actually do think that CYCLOPS kind of had the right formula in that last round, right? No anti-projectile operators on the defense at all. Like, no Jaeger, no Ormai. So if you want to use those flashbangs to get in, sink your grenades, you may as well. That's 4 sets of grenades on the side of CAG. I think they kind of have it figured out.
Good idea. Yeah, I think you can't actually run more nades than this, can you? Like,
No,
this
you
is
can't.
all the nade up. So
Yeah.
are they literally just bringing Glaz for nades? It's not even to, like, do a smoke push or anything. There's no smokes. He's literally just, like, a walking nade. He's not even got the bearing 9. He's got the Gon 6 like a Giga Chad. Mad respect. Sacrificing firepower for utility. And as I say that, here come the
Attackers
grenades.
have located a bomb.
Anderson down below is anticipating someone to be inside of break room. Of course, there was a rotation hole there made for a defender to rotate in. It was Fish-like playing that position last time, but it seems like break room's actually been given up. I think Scarz have realized that there are some players down below, CAG. It's rather quiet outside on that break room balcony, and that first nade is almost going to sink onto Tayo, taken down very low, but not out just yet.
I think not only is there no catch, but Cyclops have realized Scarz don't roam downstairs much. I think they found one frag doing so last time, but this is a lot of free real estate for Cyclops to go downstairs and use these 8 grenades that they've brought to the table. If only there was a little bit more information, but the timing is perfect. Fish-like is obliterated. Tayo's still low HP, an early advantage for Cyclops as they start to pick apart this defense.
Does seem like these grenades are magnetic to the defense. Both players now taken down very low, one of them out. Tayo is now playing extremely safe inside of Fountain. Of course, not all of the floor inside of that room can be grenaded from below, so he's going to sit in safety. Meanwhile, because they have sent in those grenades from below, it's now vacated that area inside of CC and Break, and they can now make that entry completely uncontested. But with a minute left to go, they need to plan out this execute soon.
I do really like this from Cyclops, but as you said, time will end up being their biggest enemy if they can't convert this numbers advantage. They're still preoccupied. Uh-oh, there's a drop down below and an exchange that goes the way of Scarz. This could open up the round now for the defense as Cyclops have to decide, do we go and hunt Washoy or do we focus up the site? It looks like it's the latter, and Anderson finds a wall bang. This might be a chance now for Cyclops to get in as Tayo is down. Black Gray's found his way into 90. The revive will go out, but the flank is prompt there from Rek as he still maintains control of CCTV. Tayo has finally been picked up, and it's, well, in the end, going to be a quick close for Scarz as Pyon finds the final one. Look at this. This is going to be a nice 180.
Oh, jeez.
Love that for Scarz. What a round.
Yeah, that was a really nice one for Scarz. I think they had the read somehow that CAG were down below. It was really quiet there on that second floor. And so all the Scarz players, instead of playing inside of that high traffic area of 90 and of Cubby, most of them tried to rotate back. Of course, they did get their one value pick from the grenades, and that was onto Fish-like, but it wasn't enough. By the time that they'd actually converted that push into the top floor, they didn't then have enough time to send drones into the bomb site and actually plan out the execute. So unfortunately for Cyclops, putting too many eggs in the grenade basket doesn't quite work out for them.
To locate and defuse as many bombs
I like the idea, but I feel like that no
was a good idea.
plan... Yeah, no plan you can go like 150% into. They went like all out on nades. I respect the grind, but surely you got to have a little bit of flexibility in your attack, right? I don't know. Maybe the lion head with the nades could have done something. I don't know.
Also Lion's banned.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's
So
smart.
what can you do?
As soon as I
what
saw
can
all
you
the
do?
nades come out, I was like, surely you just bring a lion so they can't run around and you have a decent idea where they are. But here you go, Cyclops is already one step ahead.
10 seconds.
They've had to think about this. They know things that we do not, Dev. That is one thing that I've learnt here in Japan. They have ideas that I could have never fathomed in my entire life. But here we are.
Attackers are moving out to locate
Fun
a
one.
bomb and defuse
Good.
it.
Anyway, here we go. Bomb site once again. I think they're going to repeat down inside of that ventilation one. Now, I think this was by far and away the most convincing style of attack, I think, for Cyclops. They really consolidated their push over in this triple wall. This time it's going to be a little bit harder to make this entry work. There are footholes on the wall, as we can see now. On board with the Prolly is just droning it out. CAG may choose to walk in on that anyway and try and capitalize on the soft wall, but they could also just try and make their way in through break instead. But Rek is going to be there to meet them on the resistance.
So pretty much you've got your Azami to hold... Oh no, what is that?
Oh.
Wow. Tiny little pixels spotted. But it was just Suzu's shoulder, so there was no kill shot available for Rek. That's a decent amount of damage though.
Rek can get vert from above on this position. I don't know if Shibisu knows. Okay, he does. He's actually going to back out from that, so good job. Great awareness from him, and is not going to get his life taken away. Tough one here for Cyclops. They need to find a way to inject themselves in the building, but it kind of feels like everywhere they're going is being met by resistance. The moment that I say that, though, Black Ray somehow makes his way in through radio.
Black Ray, though, is caught in a really tough position, though. taken super low, no audio for a couple of seconds. Just holding position. There's a good drone there from Arcoli, but unfortunately, Black Ray is not quite aware of the position, and he gets taken down. Another drone is at his feet as well, of the player that was still upstairs. Scarz are really struggling against these drones. The lack of the Solus is really harming them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I don't know if they know, but 3 players are now shaped up to actually execute in on this ground floor. The diffuser's still outside detentions. They can't hop in through this window just yet. There is still the vertical above as well, so they are going to try and send some nades to dislodge that position, but not successful so far. So Akrali is going to need to send himself up there to try and backstab the defense upstairs.
Oh my god. You can just feel the palpable uncomfortability from Scarz on this defense. There's nowhere they can sit, but they're safe from nades, from angles, from drones. CYCLOPS have a plan for everything. What is their strat now? 4 versus 3. They got time to make it work. Suzu picks up the diffuser. Still a player above. The smoke may be enough to cover, but not if it lands outside.
Yeah, unfortunate here for CAG. They can't quite figure out their way, so instead they're going to rotate upstairs and try and isolate those players there instead, distracting them as the bomb goes down. That's Suzy C putting it down, but here comes Akrali.
Yeah, unfortunately, he doesn't last long, though. It's up to Chibisu now, the best player in Japan League statistically in Stage 2. Low HP, though. A 1 versus 2 with no diffuser to speak of. He should have information vaguely on Tayo's position, as he hears Fish-like above. The nade prepped, but Tayo does round the corner in time. And Scarz, who really didn't have a right to win that round, steal it away from CAG.
Yeah, really tough one there, I think, for Scarz. They had to actually keep tabs on what all the attack was doing, right? I think they had anticipated that the ground floor push was on the cards, and it was eventually what CAG were going to look to do. So they had their players set up around that main stairs area, around that ventilation area, anticipating it to come through somehow. But the hard part in that round that Scarz had to deal with was then the top floor pressure that came through at the same time. I think it could be really easy there for Scarz to put all their eggs in one basket and go and protect that top floor and play the vertical. But realizing that they needed to have someone in the site, that was Tayo. As soon as he rotated back in, I think it really sealed the deal for the defense. He had the right read on what the execute was going for and knew the win condition, and that was to take down the diffuser.
Yeah, big play. It's a lot of risk-taking, right? Like, Scarz, are they ready when CYCLOPS say, look, we don't really know what to do? I think it was Suzu, right? He's just like, I'm going to try and sneak a plant while there's other chaos going down. And you could look at it and say, look, that was very uncoordinated from CYCLOPS, but it's about calculated risks. And for CYCLOPS, just calculated risks not playing out in that round. I think Scarz are starting to get a much better read. And they're doing a great job of the setups on this map. I feel like CYCLOPS have come into Border, which is their map pick, really organized. They've got some great ideas, some great strategies, and they've had good reads as well. But Scarz have remained just half a step ahead. And the Valkyrie, the Azami, the Mirror, I think it was 2 rounds ago, or last round, these have all been massively powerful operators that they've used to perfection.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with you on that one. Half a step ahead was the perfect phrase, I think, for this game so far. It just feels like Scarz, they are not like pressured out that easily, right? Like as soon as they see something come out from CAG, they don't go and overcommit to try and dealing with it. They send out the exact right amount of players with the exact utility that they need to then deal with that setup. And I think, like you're saying, it just feels like Scarz are a little bit more proficient, just the tiniest bit more against this CAG roster. Meanwhile, though, they are going to try and explode in onto this map, right? We've got the Ying, who's going to send out those Candelas at the same time as Chibisu on the Amaru.
What?
But they're not going to know that Pyon's here, right in the corner of Radio Room. It's going to hop out for his cause as well, but it's going to be taken down. That's Black Ray, but Fish-like down here in the ground floor is going to try and cut this attack in half.
My, this is something, I don't know what to say. This is quite something. This is very strange. CYCLOPS have gone all out on this rush strat, and it has fallen flat. 4 players from Scarz still remain as they reposition, as they consolidate. They know they have an advantage. They just need to play for refrags now. It was a huge gamble from CYCLOPS, and it really has not paid off at all.
Tough one here for CYCLOPS. They really were trying to anticipate the fact that Scarz would be so fixated in on the ground floor execute that no one would be on the top floor. The people on the top floor would be looking through the vertical or distracted or something like that. But instead it was Pion who was in the most cheeky little position on the radio room that hadn't been droned out, that really cut that attack in half. He did what he had to do to make sure that the top floor control was still in the hands of the defense. Meanwhile, for the rest of CAG, though, they are still going to make their way into the building. Of course, this top floor now forfeited with Pion going down. They do have control of this hatch, but I don't know what they can convert from it.
By inch, that's what it is. Oh, here we go. Black-Green, no! Doesn't manage to get the shots. How has he not managed to get a kill yet? He's landed 1 bullet so far of the 11 that he has shot out at those players. And now he's completely blocked out. There's a keeper barrier. Tayo C4s himself. So I guess it's slightly more possible now. Washoy is still low HP. A flashbang to try and enable the entry, but Fishlike lands the necessary shot and wreck to follow through on the player as Arcully drops the hatch. A very good half there from Scarz. 4-2. After it was looking dicey, they brought it back in a big fashion.
Yeah, Scarz just seem ready. I think it's been the name of this half so far. No matter what Cyclops have brought to the table, they've been met by the resistance of Scarz. They've never really had an opportunity to catch them out guard, right? The 2 attacks that they did land, they were able to actually make some space in the building and then get their way in, but it was really linear. And I think once Scarz actually picked on to the fact that Cyclops just was struggling so much to find their entry into the building, that was what they relentlessly put their pressure on, right? And yeah, I think in the end, Scarz just being a step ahead, going into the second half, I do feel confident for them on the attack.
Yeah, big ups to Scarz. It's not like they had all of the plans from the get-go, right? They lost both of their off-sites, right? Like they lost Fence Workshop, they lost Custom Supply. And then Scarz go in and reattempt those bomb sites after winning Armory for a second time. And they fix all of the problems. Like you said, half a step ahead. Scarz have been so good, but narrow margins, right? Like this could easily be a 3-3 or a 4-2 for Cyclops. And because it's not, they're kind of in a bit of a pickle. They've got to move on to the defense, which is not an easy side to play on border. And as a stat that Anne has provided to me, Scarz have been insanely good on attack. They have their best attacking win rate on border this year with 77%.
That is a pretty damning stat, if you ask me, especially now that they've swapped onto this second half. Remember, the stakes of this series are pretty big, right? Like, this is going to send you into Phase 2. If you can be a map ahead of the game, that's what you need. That's the momentum that you need going. This particular round, though, on the attack for Scarz, I think they've brought along the right tools that they need to cut down on the defensive CAG. Not only have they brought along the Flores to try and dislodge any of those Kiba barrier setups inside of CCTV, enabling the entry that they need, they've also got the range hard breach on Tayo to deal with those mirror setups. It just feels like all the tools that they need to not only make their early round work, but then also once they get in the building, cut down on the bomb site in the mid round.
Now that Dokkaebi ringing on out. Japan loves its Dokkaebi and loves to ban it. But of course, Cyclops decided to go with the line, and that means they will have to face the Korean Roam Hunter as Washoy starts to put a pinch on Arcully downstairs. And he is not long for this world, surely. Washoy gets the angle, gets the fight. And a great start here as Washoy looks for the second, but Anaton manages to refrag his teammate through the vertical lines.
Nice work there for Scarz to go for a two-way pinch onto the ground floor, but like you pointed out, the vertical game is going to be on for the defense, and with that, they're also now going to know that the push is coming in down from below, so even though Fishlike is made in his way here, he's got to have to be very careful as he tries to send his grenades up, right? They definitely know that he's down here, and they will want to be playing to safety. Of course, there is a power position behind this Keeper barricade that's being pinged out by the attack, but the player that is there has vacated it, or he might come back. Oh, it's looking a little bit scary here.
This is so finicky, isn't it? Trying to deal with the player inside above you. You don't know exactly where he is, but Rek has elsewhere taken out Chibisu. Is that the player in break room? I think it might be clear now. There is still one defender in 90, Scarz. Sorry, one defender in 90, the Azami player, and he is taken down. Blackray. Oh, this is so awkward now for CAG as Scarz just inch their way closer and closer to the bomb site.
Tough spot here now for CAG. Really claustrophobic, the remaining two players on the bomb site. They've been very much surrounded by the attack. The flashbangs to be sent out as Anaton will actually go for a really nice peek onto Tayo. That might be the shots that they need to claw back the round.
Yeah, those goo mines go off. Pion is in a rough spot. Suzu is hyper aware. Anaton and Suzu to clutch. They've already found two. Fishlike has to step up here to guarantee this round for Scarz. Will he check the right angle? Spots the player, but on the re-peek, he needs to land the fight. Anaton gets it, and with that, Cyclops, they bring back a 2v4 and one step closer to bringing us to an even scoreline.
Those are some super nice shots from the last two players of CAG. I think it was Anaton and one of his teammates. I can't quite remember who it was, but that was pretty incredible there. They both took the 1v1 interactions that they needed. Down in the man advantage, you need to be looking for plays, right? Otherwise, you're just going to lose out to trades. So what they needed to do there was just find the right timing to actually make their play work. And even though Anaton was almost flashed out, we were on board with him. He landed a super nice shot onto the player outside a triple, and then played a nice off angle at the end to make sure that he couldn't be taken down before his teammates came in for support after that. So super well played there from CAG to actually come back from the man deficit.
It's not a good sign though, Mandy, that Cyclops were, well, it's not a good sign for Scarz. They were at 4v2 on the attack, and Cyclops still brought it back. If Scarz are not able to convert advantages like that, then it doesn't take much for a game to slip away. But on the flip side, Cyclops on the only favored bomb site here on Armory and Archives here on Border, they still went down to such an impressive deficit at the start of the round. Like, how do you come back from that? Of course, they will have to reattempt that later. They're moving to Teller's Archives now, or Teller's and Bathroom now, but it's not a good sign.
Yeah, look, it's a tough one, but, you know, it's Border. I think anything can happen. And if there's anything that we know from these Japanese regions is that they are super good individually as players as well. We are looking at the top 10 players, I would say, in the region at the moment by quite a long way. And I don't think that you can count any of them out, especially in those clutch situations. So, really, I think each round is a round-by-round basis, or even like a 30-second by 30-second basis, right? You really cannot let your focus down against either of these teams.
100%. Well, hopefully Scarz aren't too rattled after throwing away what should have been a pretty safe round. Let's see how they look to take map control, because even though this is Tellers, like we've been saying about Border, you're going to hold it onto basically the whole map at once. I like the information gathering that CAG have brought to the table as well. Echo, Valkyrie, and Pulse. There's a lot to work with here, and especially I think it's Arcully on the Pulse down in Custom, so pretty much they've got information everywhere on the map, and they can pivot their defense to wherever Scarz decides to enter.
Yeah, right. So the difference between this style of intel and what they were trying to bring before is this is a lot of active intel, right? So it's going to force the defenders to actually find a safe spot on the map where they can open up their gadget and then have a look at where the attack is. Now, there has been a position forced out here inside of Customs, so Wreck is going to make his way in. Akali, though, on the other side will take down Fish-like, so far, the entry not working out too well for Scarz. They have enough info to try and get this numbers advantage back.
They need to look for this refrag as soon as possible. Good position, though, here from Pion. The logic bomb detonates, and Wreck will try and support him, but around the corner, Suzu steals it away. It's disastrous now for Scarz, but they might be able to bring it back. Tayo finds one. Retaking Wreck's position. Feeling a bit of pressure from behind him as the hatch is opened. Washoy, good keen eye on that Valkyrie cam, but there's a Valkyrie herself just around this corner.
He knows.
And it looks like the drone has spotted it, and he has landed the headshot. A second one for Washoy has turned this round on its head. The Yokai goes down as well as Cyclops look to confirm this kill, look to refrag, look to push Scarz back as they have lost the advantage.
That's pretty unreal from Washoy. He lands the 2K even though there's 2 bits of information on him, right? And so super well played there from the attacker. But here goes Chibisu. He's actually been misdroned, and he's going to try and land the fight, but Washoy knifes him in the back instead. Doesn't quite check the corner that he needed to, and it's going to leave Suzu all alone in the 1-on-3.
This is like the opposite of what happened last round. Cyclops had the advantage, and they've tossed it away. Scarz in a 3v1. Looking to further their lead here as Suzu, he feels so much pressure and he has absolutely no clue where Scarz are coming from. Washoy has a nuclear round and brings Scarz up to 5.
And that is mad from Scarz. That is so good from them. I think at first I was so scared because it really looked like they'd played into the hands of that active intel. They played straight into the Pulse that was on the ground floor. The Valkyrie was upstairs as well, feeding all of that info while being on the Black Eyes. And not just that, but even then, the Echo active on the drones, actually pinging out those entries as they came through. But it's sort of like a double-edged sword when you play that active intel, right? Because while you can actually get info on the attack, it also means that you don't have your gun up at the same time. And I think that's a big thing here for the defense, right? It meant that as the attack actually made their way in, they weren't really taking those like close 2 versus 1 engagements or whatever, because they kept catching all these defenders or roamers off guard on their own, pretty far away from their remaining players, because the rest of them were just on their cams feeding them info instead, right? So I think therefore Scarz, they actually isolated the fights that they needed to, and I think that even though the active intel is a good idea, it kind of stabbed CYCLOPS in the back there.
It is kind of ironic. We've seen so many good ideas from CYCLOPS here. The 8-nade strat from below, the massive info strat, and yet, like you're saying, they're not getting the execute right. It goes to show with Siege, especially in the current meta, it's not just about having the right ideas, it's about the micro. It's what we always talk about,
Finesse.
Mandy. It is. It's about the finesse. And now CYCLOPS need to bring themselves back into it because they've taken their tactical timeout. It's just finished. They've had a few moments to chat as a team and chat with their coach. They are 2 rounds deficit, and this is their map pick, Mandy. They really need to push it here.
I think I've said this phrase like 3 times in one cast, so I should be banned from it from now on, but like CYCLOPS, yeah, every time we see them come up with an idea, it does feel like the too many eggs in one basket type thing, right? Like every single time that they have played something, it doesn't really feel like a very rounded strategy. And I think that even though a lot of the time it's like a really unique and cool and it's a good idea, it can be kind of hard when you need another tool then to solve a different type of problem, right? So yeah, I think for CYCLOPS now, changing up their bomb site and instead just leading into your more traditional stuff here, right? Bring along the mirror, put it exterior, try and prevent Scarz from getting easy access into that top floor, and not just that, but use that castle as well and make the hallway a power position, or try and lock out any of those lines of sight interior to the building that might cut off your roamers.
Loving it, the free cam in the Japan League. Just gonna
cool.
shout out our observer. Not sure who is on today. We might try and figure out later. But for now, all of our attention should really be on CYCLOPS. Scarz have been the better team throughout the stage. At least it has seemed that way, and they certainly were the better team in stage 1. But CAG are on a comeback tour. And for them, if anything, the stakes are higher than for Scarz. Good drone, though, from Fishlike, but Washoy has once again snuck in and found the opener. Chibisu's gone down. One of CYCLOPS' best fraggers as Washoy rounds the corner for a second. It is devastation for CYCLOPS.
This man is having his super game at the moment. 11-5 is the scoreline for him, as he actually has 90 control all to himself, completely taking down the strategy for CYCLOPS. They put everything inside of that top floor. Not a single player is on the bomb site, Deb. All 5 of them were upstairs, and all it took was for Washoy to walk into the building to shoot them. O'Crowley on the other side, though, is going to use that mirror to take down Fishlike, though, so finally, CYCLOPS are able to get one back. But like we've seen time and time again, this is certainly within the realm of possibility for the defense, right? It's not like the comebacks have never happened in this series. They've happened quite more than we'd like them to, actually, I would say. So I think that even now, for Scarz, with the man advantage, they still have to be careful.
The round is not over until it is over. That's one thing we've learned these last, what was it, 2 rounds in a row, 2v4s. Good info from Scarz. My god, the drones this game have been incessant. They have dominated for the attack. Gon does land a bit of damage, but he's dealt just as much in return. Washoy, the menace himself, makes his rotation downstairs, prepares to support, opening up the wall into sight from bathroom. This is a good call from Scarz, especially while they keep tabs on that roamer above.
Yeah, but the tough one there is that the vertical pressure is still on for the remaining defenders, but they are all the way over inside of that armory side of the building. So the only defender they really need to dislodge is, I think it's Arcully, who's been yellow pinged out. They're going to distract him as they get their way into the bomb site.
Oh no. Is there any information? Where are you? CYCLOPS, the plant is going down. Washoy has completely opened the round. And now he's looking to close it as well. Anderson in a 1v4, but that is a dream that will never manifest. Scarz have brought themselves onto a map point here at the start of the grand final. And to do it on Kag's map pick is a dream come true.
Scarz are so good at problem solving in situational moments, aren't they? That's so incredible from them to realize that the win condition for that plant to go down was just to kill Arcully, who was upstairs and could have had that vertical pressure, right? That was the only defender that could have put resistance to their attack plan, and that was it. All they had to do was keep him distracted with yellow pings going out, flashbangs being sent in, and then even sending in Washoy after that to actually land the kill onto him as the plant was going down. So really well read there from Scarz to anticipate what they had to do in the mid-round, dial it back, do the problem solving, and
Attackers need
execute
to
it.
locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Wow, I can't believe the comeback that we've seen from Scarz. They were down 2-1, which of course is not much to speak of, but they went 3 defenses in a row, and now 3 attacks in a row as well, or 2 attacks in a row as well. This is a huge slew. That means what? In the last 6 rounds, Cyclops have only won a single round.
Wow,
Scarz
really?
is... Yeah, it's unreal. Like, I'm looking at my notes right now, and I'm blinking. I'm scratching my eyes just to check that it's right. But it's true, right? We were at 2-1. Which means that 5 of the last 6 rounds have been won by Scarz. They have just been dominating. This momentum is unbreakable. And now Cyclops need 3 in a row just to push us to overtime. And I will once again remind you that this is Cyclops' map pick, for goodness sake.
That is not a good sign for Cyclops. That is certainly not good, especially when you come so prepared into a map, especially when you bring along so many interesting ideas to try and take down Scarz, and it doesn't work against them. So now, this is potentially the final attack for Scarz. The momentum on their side, like we've been saying, they can surely land this one. Washoy, the man of the hour, is going to start out this entry just outside of that break room door. He's going to open up that window onto Black Ray, who's going to hold onto this mezzanine position for as long as he can. Now, he is a Zami, so he can make this a power position with those keeper barriers. Not only that, but also protect his teammate inside of Cubby. And they're really, really going to hold on to this for as long as they can. Washoy, though, from down below, is going to send out a very similar grenade that we saw Suzu C do, but it doesn't quite land.
Oh, but Rek lands the headshot. The suppressed spear, a little bit of damage on Tibisu as well. And there's an opening now for Scarz to send it into the site. This is Armory. This is the defender-sided site, but the Ying has suppressed it. And there's no way that Cyclops will be able to deny the plan. It's all slipping away. And Scarz now in a 5v3 with match point in front of them. It seems simply like a formality to close it from here. Black Ray will try his best, but he must do the impossible now. He's right on top of that diffuser, but there's no way he'll land it. That's a kill, but the trade from none other than Washoy. It is his game, and he has brought Scarz a first map in this BO5.
And one step closer to Phase 2 of the Atlanta Major. That is what is on the cards of this series, and Scarz certainly know it. They're not leaving any stone unturned. That was a real telltale of just how good they are with their attention to detail, and that's exactly what you need against the CAG, who can be so unpredictable but can be dealt so easily.
What a game from Scarz. I have never seen them